Hi, everyone. It is still summer here. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want summer to end. So I am making gluten free ice cream sandwiches. They are just incredible, just like what I remember. And look, Disney, I can make a gluten free Mickey ice cream sandwich. So let's get started. So we'll start by softening some vanilla ice cream. And look, it doesn't have to be vanilla, it can be really any flavor you want. I'm just going old school here. I'm showing you how to make the old school ice cream sandwiches, and then we'll change it up a bit and make some different flavors and different shapes. So I'm lining, this is an 8 by 8 inch square cake pan that I'm lining with plastic wrap, and I want to do two layers here because this is ice cream. I don't want it to get, melted all over the pan, and I really want it to be secure in there. So I'm going to put two layers. Maybe you don't have to, but this is what I always do. I've been making ice cream cakes actually since my kids were really little, and this is how I did the layer of ice cream within the cake part too. So same thing. So now that this has sat, I've mixed it up a little bit. I'm going to finish mixing it up so it is kind of like the consistency of a thick buttercream, just like this. It looks like it's buttercream really. And once I do that, I'll get it into the pan, and just take your time with this because you really want it spread as evenly as possible for the sake of your sandwiches, so that when you go to cut it up, it won't be lopsided, basically. Because ask me how I know this. I basically did that. It was kind of lopsided. I couldn't get it right, and they still tasted wonderful. But if you want them to look really good, just make sure, take your time, get it nice and even. Use an angled spatula like this, and everything will be fine. So once you've got it nice and straight and even, put a piece of plastic wrap on top and really tuck it in there, because we need to refrigerate this for at least 4 hours. I'm sorry, not refrigerate, freeze this for at least 4 hours. Now, one thing you could do is make double layer of different flavors, and then you would freeze it for 2 hours, and then add your second flavor, and then freeze that for another 4 hours. So we're going to make the cookie part of this, and I am creaming some butter with brown sugar and regular granulated sugar. And I really want to cream these really well, so a good 3 to 4 minutes on the creaming. And while that is happening, we'll go ahead and mix up our dry ingredients. I have my Kim's all-purpose gluten-free flour blend here with some unsweetened cocoa, baking powder, and kosher salt. And I'm just going to whisk these together until they're nice and combined. You can also sift them, but I hate sifting. So now I'm adding eggs to the creamed butter and sugar mixture. 2 eggs. Add them one at a time, mixing well after each. And of course, as always with all of my videos, you will find the recipe link in the description box below the video. And I'm adding my homemade vanilla to that. So scrape down the sides. And then once you have it all scraped down, add in, I would say half, roughly half of the flour mixture, because if you don't, you will have cocoa powder everywhere. You're still going to have a cloud of cocoa powder, no doubt, but at least if you do half and half, it helps to cut down. And what I like to do is pulse it, pulse on and off real quick until it gets mixed in enough. But you see, there's still some cocoa powder kind of flying. So we just stop it and add the rest of the cocoa powder ingredients. And again, do the same thing. By the way, that is not dirt underneath my fingernail. That is vanilla bean seeds. I was adding some more vanilla beans to my vanilla bean stash. And I got vanilla bean seeds all under my fingernails. So once you have this nice and mixed well, divide it into on pieces of plastic wrap, because we're going to work with 1/2 at a time. This is a really sticky dough, so it tends to do better if you work 1/2 at a time. And when I was making this, it was super hot outside, like 100 degrees or so. Cold in my house, but still, when it's that hot and the sun is shining through and everything, it can be difficult to work with. Now, what I like to do is I don't pull the plastic wrap real taut so that I can kind of roll it within the plastic wrap into more of a rectangular shape. And that's for getting the old school ice cream sandwiches that are rectangular. But I'll show you, you can make all kinds of different shapes with these. And it's really great for like kids' parties and holidays. Like, I've got Mickey Mouse. You can also make stars for like 4th of July or Valentine's, make heart shaped. So get this in the fridge for at least 2 hours until it's nice and chilled. And then break it out. I roll it out on parchment because it is a rather sticky dough. When I first started out, I was just doing it on the bottom, and then eventually it started getting a little stickier because, again, it was hot. And I decided to put another sheet of parchment paper on top. And that really helped to allow me to roll it out to a good 1/8 of an inch thick. And don't worry if there is extra flour like left over on the top, because that will eventually go away. You won't even see it when the cookies are frozen and all that stuff. You don't have to worry about it not coming through. So I had to put mine in the fridge. You don't have to do that if your house is nice and chilly. So I put it in the fridge for about 1/2 an hour so I could cut it into rectangles. Now you can do whatever size, again, whatever shape you want, but I'm just showing you my 8x8. This is normally a 9x13 inch recipe that I got actually from Claire Saffitz on the Bon Appetit YouTube channel, and I'll put a link for that below. And she makes it in a 9x13, but again, I wanted to show you how you could make different shapes out of this. So this one, I'm doing my 8x8. So I'm using my ruler, my favorite tool, one of my favorite tools in the kitchen, and I'll leave a link for that below. And I'm making them into 2x4 inch rectangles. So I'm going to make markings every 2 inches there, and then I'll do every 4 inches. So it's just basically cut right in half at 4 inches. And then you could take the excess and pick it up and put it in another sheet of wax paper, or plastic wrap, and you can re-roll it. You can also freeze it if you want to make these at a later time. And now I'm just going through and cutting the rectangles from my markings. And again, those little bits of flour on top, you don't need to worry about those at all. They will disappear once they are in the freezer after they have baked. So we're going to bake these at 350 for about 12 minutes, or until they're firm on the outer edges. And then what we want to do is lay these out and flip half of them over. And now we've got our ice cream from the freezer, our little block of ice cream. And we're going to cut this into the same size shapes that we did the rectangles. Carefully peel off the plastic wrap. And again, I use my wonderful clear plastic ruler. This thing, I use this for so many things. You'll see it in so many of my videos, and it was, I don't know, it was like $12 or something on Amazon, and it is just, I couldn't find it the other day, and I was lost without it. So now I'm just cutting these into 2-inch long strips, and then I will divide that in half at the 4-inch mark, just like I did with the rectangle cookies. And then we'll cut them and place them on each cookie, flipped over cookie. And that's it for the old school style ice cream sandwiches. You just put the top one, flip it over and put it on there and kind of press so that it gets nice and, attached. And then you want to wrap these individually in plastic wrap, and you can keep them in your freezer for like 3 months. And whenever your kids want a nice treat, after school treat or whatever, they can just pull one out from the freezer and there you go. And what happens is these cookies, after they've been in the freezer for 24 hours, they will soften. So here is my version of Disney's ice cream sandwich, Mickey ice cream sandwich with cookies and cream, ice cream in the middle. And all I did was I softened the vanilla ice cream and I added some gluten-free Oreos crushed up to it, and then spread that out, let it freeze just like before. And I'm using the very same cookie cutter for the ice cream that I used for the cookies. And then you just stack them just like the other ones. And look at there. Disney, you need to get on this because we gluten-free people would really love these. So I just made those. The cookies are not soft yet. They have to sit in the freezer at least 24 hours, but these have been in the freezer already, and they are nice and soft and perfect, just like what I remember ice cream sandwiches to be. Absolute perfection. Make different flavors, make whatever kind you want. Enjoy.